In this video, we will discuss two types of word problems relating to interest on the TI-84. Number one, you are investing $10,000 today and want to know how much you will have after 6 years if you earn a 7% rate of return over the 6-year time frame. Okay, all right, we are not going to just write down things and punch it in the calculator. Today we're using the app. Okay, so what I need you to do is find your app, APS, on your calculator, push that. And we are working with finance because it's interest. Okay, we may use some of these other things in other videos, but for today we want one, and we're pretty much sticking to number one, the TVM solver. Okay, now this already has information in there, okay? So let's go back and put in the things we need. Well, I'm going to write them out for you. First off, let me explain. In the 6 years, okay? Yes, it's 6 years, but usually it's 6 years times how much it's being compounded. Okay, well, nowhere in our information does it say that we're compounding monthly, quarterly, anything different. Okay, so we go with 1 year. Now, that means that that's 1 times 6 is the 6. Okay, it's very important to remember that's a capital N. It's not a T for time. It's your time, it's however many years, and you multiply that to the amount of compounding. Okay, all right, now interest. That's another important thing you need to know. You just type in 7. You do not change it. This is an application in the calculator that's provided for you. You don't need to make changes. Okay? Now, this this payment, uh, this PMT, that's for payments that you might do during the years. We're not doing that, so you can literally just say 0. Now, we are looking for the future value, so I like to put a 0 there. Just then I come back to it later. Okay. And then present value for us is the 10,000. Okay. Now you'll see this note right here. It says these are how this is about compounding. Okay. And we will use this in one of the questions. But for right now, all we have is one time a year, every year. Okay, now let's go over to our calculator. We need to put in 6 because it's 6 times 1 and enter. We already have a 7 in there, so we can enter. Our $10,000 is there for us. We can enter. Payment has to be 0. Now we have to push 0 for the future value for now. Okay, and we have 1 here, and that's supposed to be there. Usually that comes pre-entered, the ones. Okay, now down here at the bottom where it says end and beginning, you look at your word problem, and does it say that we're worried about things at the end of the year? Yes, we are. It's not talking about a payment at the beginning. It could, but it doesn't. So we leave that highlighted and we arrow up to what we're looking for. Okay, which is our future value. We're actually looking for our future value here. Okay. All right. Now, here's the thing. You have to remember that you push the green alpha and then you come down to enter, and notice above the enter, there's the word solve in green. When you push your enter, you do get the value, the correct value, but notice that has a negative in front of it. You need to remember that one of these, let me change my color. Oh, sorry. Let me erase that. There, and change my color. Future value or present value. When this calculator is popping things out, where you're putting things in, one of them must have a negative in front of it for your calculations to work. Now, I'm not going to take the time to explain that to you. There is a reason why. If you don't mind, can we save that for another day or look that or, Google that? I vaguely remember why that is precisely. I'd rather not go over that. It's kind of a waste of our time. Just remember, ignore that negative and just put your dollar sign in there when you're done. Okay. So let's go to number two. All right, number two, that's a pretty good word problem. It says a software firm is being is being purchased by a large company. The buyer has offered the owner $50,000 per year for 20 years or a lump sum of $400,000 right up front. That's that's not bad. Okay, the following assumptions must be made. Okay, now this is important to get to the correct answer, okay? Okay, the owner, okay, the guy that's selling his company, can invest that lump sum offer in a risk-free certificate growing at 4.6% a year. So you're assuming that is 100% going to happen. Then B, compounding will be continuous. Okay, we really need to talk about this and compare it to number one. Number one was not continuous. I didn't even mention continuous. I know that it is not continuous because it's talking about a yearly event and it gave us this little note to look at just once a year. Okay. So it's only compounding every 12 months, not continuously. Okay. And that is how I knew that I could go and use my application and just punch stuff in. For this, if we're going to compound continuously, we cannot use the application to get the value that we need. What we need to use is that our future value will equal P, that's for your initial or principal, to our constant E, up to, and with the exponent of rate times the time. Okay? All right. So what we need to do first here, let's change colors. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, go away. Okay. All right. So what we need to do is if notice that the $50,000 every year for 20 years, there's no interest on that. They're not going to give you interest. So basically what happens is this amount right here, it turns into $100,000. Okay? All right. So what we need to do is put this in this PERT into our calculator and see what options we have. How can we select the options they've given us? Okay, so our principal, which would be our very first payment, all right, first off, we have to back out of our application. We're just going to put that in. 2, 3, make sure you count all the zeros. There should be 5 zeros there. Yes. Okay. Now we need the E, and I like to push multiply. I know that you don't have to, but I just like to do it for safe operations. Okay, now I need to go second, and C division's got the E, and then right above that's my carry it up. Now I just put the other items in. My rate, now that's another thing. This rate must be changed to 0.046. We must change that. So 0.046, multiply that to how many years? 20 years. 20 years. Okay. And that should get what we need. Push enter. It gives us something to look at. So what that's saying is that after 20 years, that's how much money we would have. And now we go and compare. That is definitely more than this $100,000. Definitely more. Now, I see that in option B right here. We're going to go ahead and look at the other items. I'm kind of looking at them. I'm thinking they don't make sense. For right now, we're going to say, hey, B's probably it. But A says that we're going to take it. Okay, yes, we're going to take it because the lump sum is more profitable and will earn $20,000 a year. Looking at our calculations, that is absolutely just true. Yeah, it is more profitable, but it's only going to earn us this extra $3,716 and some change. So I don't agree with that. So now let's look at what it says for C for the no. No, the lump sum will not earn more than 100. No, that's just not true. D, no, the lump sum is less profitable at the interest rate. Well, that's not true because we just proved it is. So, yes, this is the one that we need. Makes sense. Number 3, Tina invested $3,000 in a bank that pays an annual interest rate of 7%, compounded continuously. What is the amount she can earn after 5 years from the bank? Okay, so it is compounded continuously. That means we will not be using our application. We will be using the PERT. Okay, so I'm not even going to write that down. We're just going to put that in our calculator. Okay, we know what our P is. This is our E, and this is our T. Okay, all right, so $3,000. Okay, got enough there. Okay, second, divide to get our E. Above that's our carrot up. So remember, 7% needs to be decimal. 0.07 multiply times the 5 years. Push enter. Do we have anything reasonable? Yes, we do. Number B. Okay. All right. Now, one might say, well, let's write some things down and verify. Well, first off, I've already done the answer, so we don't need to verify. But the point I need to make is why would you can do that if you wish, but you're going to be taking a test. Your time is limited. And if you can get solid confidence using your TI 84 on every single problem that you possibly can, imagine the time that you'll free up for the other questions that actually do stump you. You know, some of those best situation in the classroom questions that everybody dislikes. That way you have your energy on those things. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 4. You are offered an opportunity to make an investment today that will pay you $100,000 in 20 years. Assume a $5 discount rate. What is the amount you would be willing to pay for the interest today? This is different. Okay, so first off, how are they compounding it? Okay, it's not continuous. Okay, right? Obviously, not continuous. It's just looking at a discount rate. Okay, but it is compounding once a year. So we're just talking about yearly all the way around. Okay, so because it doesn't say monthly, nope. Okay, so we can go ahead and use our app. It's safe to use the app. Let's go to it and push 1. Okay, now we're looking at 20 years and it's 20 times 1 again. Okay, that's why I wrote the 1 down. So we can go ahead and put that in as is. Our interest rate is 5. Remember, when you're using the app, do not change that interest. Just push the button. Okay, so now what is going on? We will need to enter again and we don't have a present value. That's why I said what's going on, because you've got an ending after 20 years, at the end of 20 years, but we're worried about the beginning payment. So I put the zero in. There'll be no payments during the years. So that, okay, future value. We do have that. Okay. So we have the one, two, three, four, five. Make sure I have enough zeros here. Okay. Now, we aren't compounding throughout that year. Notice I'm arrowing through. I don't always enter. You can do either one. Now, we are not concerning ourselves with the ending value. We're saying, how much am I willing to give them right now? Or am I willing to give that to them right now? Okay, so we've highlighted our beginning. We go back up, but we're looking at, this present value. Okay, so what we do is we push alpha, enter, and it gives us the value. Notice that negative symbol there again. Crucial that you pay attention to that. Okay. And that is number C. Okay. Let's go to number five. Option C. Sorry. Number five. $5,000 was placed in an account earning 7%. Man, they like 7% a lot in these questions. 7%. Okay. Calculate the final amount. That means we're going to be talking about the end. Okay. In the account after 6 years, if the interest is compounded continuously. Okay, that tells me that we will be backing out of this and entering these items in the calculator. Okay, so we're beginning with the $5,000. Okay, and we need our E. Okay, so remember that second divide, then our carried up, and it's 7% times 6. Remember, for regular calculations, you do have to change that interest times the 6, right? It is 6, yes. Push enter. And we get something reasonable with a little bit of rounding. Very nice. Okay. Number 6, $5,000 was placed in an account earning 7% interest. If the account is compounded monthly, approximately how long will it take the account to double in value starting from $5,000? Okay. So let's see. We see the 5,000. This is important. Compounded monthly. That tells us it's not continuous and we can use our app. And we're looking for how long. That means we're looking for time. And doubling, the count will double. Okay. So what does that mean? That means they want the 2 times the $5,000, which equals the 10,000. And this compounded monthly means we're going to look at 12. There are 12 months in a year, so it's going to happen 12 times. We need to use that number. So let's open up our app, get to that solver. Now, time. We are going to leave that at 0 because time is part of the n. Remember, that's your compounding times your n, and we can't enter that in that manner. We can't say 12t or t12. We can't do that like in the other problems. So let's leave it at 0. We don't need to. Anyway, doesn't matter. Right now, 7%, enter your 7%. Present value. Okay. All right, let's talk about that. Remember, I told you that the present value and the future value, one of them had to have a negative when it was entered and it spits out a negative for you. So let's go ahead and use the negative for the $5,000. Okay. Now let's enter. We don't have any payments going in during the year, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay. future value, we have that. Actually, they said it to us verbally, so that's the 10,000. Actually, we could do this. Watch, we could say 2 times 5,000. That's convenient if you don't want to, and it pops it out for you. So remember that little trick if you don't want to sit and write things out. Okay, now see that PY and CY, those are about our compounding. And we need to put in 12 there. Now this is kind of nice. When you put in 12 for the other, for one, it puts it in for the other. That's because they work together inside the calculator. So now we need to deal with when is that payment of importance to us? Are we looking at the beginning or the end? Well, actually, we're looking at the end. We're looking at the time at the end. So we need to push end. Okay. Now we're going to go back up. Everything we need is entered. We're going to go back up to our end. We're going to go ahead and get that. So push alpha second. Okay. But it's really not our number because we need to divide that by 12 to get the actual time. It's very inconvenient if we're looking at it like this. And don't do it by hand. That's a waste of time. Let me show you what to do. Back out, go to your app again, just push once, just enter once. Now, look at what you need right there. See that capital N with the number 5? Push 5, okay, and push enter. That's the value that it calculated for you, okay? Now all you have to do is divide by the 12. And that's how many years it is. Okay. Now they could ask you months and things like that, but they're not doing that to you here. Actually, that would be kind of mean. But we have our answer, and that is option D. Okay. All right. First time I was showed that, I was so happy. I'm like, it really relieves the stress during testing. You are looking at the elements, picking them out, thinking them through, pushing the buttons, and you're not having to muddle through the calculations. Okay. All right. Which I did the calculations by hand before I did this video. And yeah, you have to think about it. For testing, don't do that. Just push the buttons. Okay. So let's look at number 7. A deposit of $2,500 in a mutual fund reaches a balance, okay, of $3,052.49 after 5 years. What is the approximate annual interest rate? Oh, now we're looking for the interest on a certificate of deposit compounded monthly. We need our 12 again. So we have to, should already be in our calculator. Okay. Deposit would yield an equivalent return. Let me read that again. What is the approximate annual interest rate on the certificate of deposit compounding monthly on this? That would yield the equivalent. Okay, so that's just wordiness. Okay, so let me write 12 better. Okay, all right. Okay, we're looking at the 12 to compound. Let's go ahead and open up our app. All right, push, go to our solver. Okay. Okay, what is our N? 5 years. So push your 5 in there and enter. Percentage, we need to put a 0 in because we're looking for it. Now, remember, you need to put a negative in. So let's go ahead and put our negative in for our $2,500. Okay, remember, either present or future value must have a negative. Okay, now, okay, that is our present. Let's get, okay, remember that PMT is 0 because there's no discussion of payments during years. Okay, now future value, let's put that in. 3,000, okay, $52.49. There we go. And enter, we can leave our 12 in, and we can leave our end highlighted because it says after the 5 years. Now we need to go up and deal with our interest. Okay, push alpha, enter. Okay, what did we do wrong? We did something wrong. Let me see. Did I put in 5,200 right? $2,500. Oh, I know what I did wrong. N equals what? N equals 5 times the 12 months compounded. Okay, my 5 is wrong. Let's go up. And don't always do it by hand. Put in the 5 times 12. Let the calculator do it for you. Okay, now push alpha, enter. And that is the answer. So, and the reason I knew I was wrong is I looked down here and my percentages were reasonable. Getting a percentage of 48 point something is completely unreasonable. If somebody was charging me that interest rate, I'd run for the hills. That's absolutely ridiculous. So that's how I know that I was being ridiculous. I made an error. Okay. All right, that's the end of this video. I really hope you learn more about how to use your TI-84 to the fullest when you're testing. Okay, if you like our videos, consider maybe sharing it with a friend. That'd be great. Or giving us a like. And if you haven't subscribed, that would be absolutely wonderful. And thank you. And I hope your testing goes very well.